up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Down Unders. A bit of a chaotic start we had here, my brother. A cyclone is about to hit our places. How are you feeling, my bro?
I'm all sweet, bro. Just literally the wind's got to get everything inside and last minute grog since we're shut down for 2 days at work.
Brody's going to drink his sorrows away while the cyclone just takes out everyone else, yeah?
That's the one, brother.
Let's hope that our electricity and our internet and all that holds up so we can watch some footy this weekend, right?
Yeah, well, bare minimum is mobile data so we can watch the footy.
Bare minimum. All right, guys. Today, decent sized show. We're going to add in our Supercoach show because, as we just touched on, there is a cyclone that's going to hit where me and Brody both live. We both live around the Brisbane region, so we got to set up for a lot of that sort of stuff. And there's obviously no. We don't know if we're going to be on, if there's going to be electricity or anything in the house. So we thought we'll do a little bit of a combined show. It's not going to be a massive show either, guys. Even in Supercoach land, there wasn't much talk about. It was round 0, 2 games. We'll do a lot big of a roundup next Thursday. So that should be really, really cool. Good to see you in the chat, Tans. Thank you so much for coming through, guys. Also, feel free. It is a live show, as you guys know. Continue to chat your lives away, and we'll try and bring up some. I've tried to fix up that little chat feature that we have currently right now. But brother, we may as well touch on the news of the week before we go through our Vegas review and that. So the two big news that I've got out of the week that I've seen around, the first one, Mitchell Moses signs a 5-year new deal. From all the rumors with this deal as well, because obviously the big worry about the Mitchell Moses deal in the past was that he had a lot of ways to get out of his contract, little clauses. Yep, that's the word for sure. But now apparently they've pulled all those clauses, and Mitchell Moses is now a Parramatta Eel for 5 more years, bro. How do you feel about that?
Well, apparently he's getting paid too much because it's made his foot a bit sore at training because he can't play this week. So already a bad sign for the Eels is you sign the man on a big deal and he's injured round 1. Look, good on the Eels. I guess they needed to lock down either him or Dylan Brown. Obviously, your first crack there will probably be Mitchell Moses. Great for the Eels. Hopefully they can get him fit and get him out round 1.
So 5-year deal, guys. Mitchell Moses currently is 30 years old. So 5 years be about 35, 36, depending on what his birthday is overall. So with that being said, you're seeing players like DCE play for decent years. You know, Cam Smith, the big notable one that played pretty much nearly to what he was like 37, somewhere around that before he retired, maybe even later. So sports science, they're able to go all that far. But as you just touched on before, we'll get on a little bit more when we go through our team list. No Mitchell Moses this weekend. He's dealt with injuries. A little bit of a worry there for a long-term deal, but with what he's done in State of Origin and that, maybe that weighs up the other side of the argument, right?
Oh, definitely. And when Mitchell Moses is out there, he's a class halfback, and we know that the NRL is running short of halfbacks at the moment. So, definitely a smart move. Injuries can happen to anyone. They're happening to a lot of fullbacks in the previous years of Papenhuyzen and Trbojevic. It's just one of those things, seems to be all the ways the good players that get the most injuries.
Yeah, 100%, bro, 100%. And we're saying that we'll move over to the other big news over the weekend. All rumored going around at the moment, the Newcastle Knights offering a 10-year, $13 million deal for Dylan Brown. That's a massive, massive deal. That's going to really push the Parramatta Eels to try and match it in a way to try and keep Dylan Brown at the club. High risk, high reward sort of stuff there, brother. How do you feel about if you were a Knights fan, how would you feel about this? And if you're a Parramatta Eels fan, how would you feel about this?
Well, if I was a Knights fan, you'd be pretty cheering, You finally got that solid half. That would be a really good pairing with Ponga, and the Knights could actually be something. If you're an Eels fan, I guess the proof's in the pudding that with the Moses signing coming out as well, I dare say they're looking to let go of Dylan Brown. I don't think they'll be able to match that. But what are your thoughts? I know that, the Warriors were thrown out there for Dylan Brown. But how do you feel for the Knights?
Yeah, for the Knights, 24 years old, Tans. I just see you in the chat there. 10 years. How old is he? He's 24. So if we kind of weigh that up, the Parramatta Eels are locking up a 5-year deal for Mitchell Moses. That ends him at 35. Be about a similar sort of age range that Dylan Brown will finish this deal. I'm not too sure about the clauses that go on with it, but for the Newcastle Knights, it does look like a big swing to try and bring a player over to play with Kalen Ponga to really up the ante there. There has been obviously them losing a player like Leo Thompson, stuff like that, a little bit of a worry around the Newcastle Knights. And I think that for Knights fans, seeing this is a bit more of a like, okay, so the club's trying to still bring people over, makes you probably a little bit happier as a Knights fan. As a Warriors fan, you know, as a team that did look like they were jumping in the race for Dylan Brown, I think that first offer for Newcastle, a 10-year deal, 13 mils, probably pushed us out of the water, right? I don't think we're going to go in for 14 million for 10 years. I don't think we're going to go that realm. And I think that's probably what the Knights envisioned. They're going hard. They're going big early, so they push a lot of teams out of the competition. So it's really them and the Parramatta Eels, unless the Roosters really want to come around with a big bit of money, they're going to throw at him too. So for Knights fans, there's a lot of risk in it. But we've seen 10-year deals somewhat work out, and we've seen 10-year deals not, well, actually the two 10-year deals that I know of, Jason Taumalolo, they won a premiership within that period. So you could say that worked out. You know, he's done good things for the club.
He's been broken the last 2 years. Now he's broken.
So that's the worry of it. And DCE, I'm pretty sure DCE had a 10-year deal, and he brought premierships within that period. But after that I think that's where he got his 10-year. So it works, it doesn't work, but I guess if you got to try and get a guy to the club, and if there's clauses in it that he's going to leave you guys anyway, then I don't know. Really, it's probably a decent option for Newcastle that are struggling at the moment trying to bring in talent.
Yeah, look, if I was a club owner, I wouldn't be signing any more than 3-year deals, and I know that might put you out of the race for a lot of players, but if you're stuck with somebody for 10 years and they're not performing, or you know they're injured every year, it's just not good for your club. You can't really do much about it. So to me, 3-year deals, you know, you make the players work for their deal, and you're going to get better footy out of them because they're not feeling comfortable. They're not feeling complacent. So, yes, to answer your question, Tans, I definitely think 10 years is a bit much.
Yeah, and I'm probably definitely with Brodie with that option. I wouldn't agree if the Warriors went in for a 10-year deal. I'd be a bit more like, come on, guys, like that. You know, the risk to reward sort of stuff, that's probably pushing the boat out a little bit too far. If you were Dylan Brown as sort of option, you know, let's say the Parramatta Eels are offering a 3 to 5 year deal around the same price, or the Knights going a 10-year deal around that price. How are you looking? What way would you be looking as a player?
If you're Dylan Brown,
you
definitely got a safety net there. It's it'd be smart. It'd be smart to sign a 10-year deal.
100%.
That pretty much sets you up for the rest of your rugby league career, and that type of money should set you up for after your rugby league career. You know, the salary cap probably will grow in the next 10 years, and we'll start seeing players get onto that 1.5, 1.6 a season more than likely. But you know, that's down the line. Why not take your money that's on offer now? While Dylan Brown's, you know, he hasn't even been playing the best footy. You know, to get that sort of offer, I would be taking it. You know, you're going to be set. You're going to be sorted. You don't know what could happen. He could get injured next week, next year, and then start to have really injury-riddled seasons. If he doesn't have a contract behind him, his value is definitely going to go down, not up. And I don't see it going up much more than that. So I would be signing the deal for sure.
100%. And lastly, just to touch on like Newcastle, because we did touch on it a little bit, but the implications of having such a big deal, especially such amount of money that they're going to be throwing around there. Kalen Ponga. So obviously the Roosters are going to be hunting for players. I think Kalen Ponga comes off in the next couple of years. He's on big money, and I'm sure that Newcastle will try and get him back around that. That could push their salary cap a little bit out of whack. This is probably an option for them to try and keep Kalen Ponga. Say you got a player like this, but you know, money-wise, obviously it's going to keep everything in the air. Do the Roosters have a really strong plan in this and get Kalen Ponga to the Roosters if Teddy ends up going out the door?
100%. That's pretty much bang on. And you know that the cap hit that the Roosters now have with all the players that they've lost, you know, they may seem a little bit weaker, but you know what? Once they lose Teddy, lose a couple of other older ones on top of what they've already lost, they're going to just go out and sign 3-4 guns at one single time and shoot straight back to premiership favourites. It's just what they do.
Yeah, 100%. But shout out Dylan Brown, brother. If you've got the money there, if you want the safety blanket, go take that deal. But with the Newcastle Knights, I'm sure there's a little bit more to play out here, and we'll have to wait and see what the Eels do and where they come with this argument to try and keep Dylan Brown at the club overall. It's going to be a very interesting one. But any other news you want to touch on, bro? We're definitely going to touch on Mitchell Moses and all that when we get for our team list. But anything else you want to touch on? Any news that you know floating around at the moment that I don't know about?
No, I think that's pretty much it, other than, a couple of suspensions from the previous round, but we'll get to that as well.
Yeah, 100%, brother, 100%. All right, guys, a quick little review of Vegas overall. Brother, you watch all the Vegas games? Did you get through as much as you can of them, or how are you with that?
No, I only watched the start of the Warriors-Raiders game. I didn't like the way it was looking. I kind of ducked out for the middle period. And then came back to the last little bit. So, as soon as I seen Horsburgh killing it on Supercoach and Metcalf killing me on Supercoach, I was like, yeah, that's enough of that. Went and done a few things and then jumped back in. But, yeah, I got a good glimpse of most of the games.
Yeah, 100%. All right, moving through. First of all, the Super League game here, 48-24. The Wigan Warriors getting over the top of the Warrington Wolves. Just sort of brushing over the top of these sort of games but obviously big performers. You've got Jai Fields, incredible. You got Bevan French, unbelievable. It's good to see Luke Thompson, an ex-doggy in that, play some good footy over there at the Wigan Warriors. And also seeing that big boy on the edge, Junior and Semba. He's definitely a freak of nature for the future that I think a lot of rugby league clubs will be watching out for.
100%. Jai Field, Bevan French, didn't quite get to crack the full NRL potential. They might even had it there, but in Super League, they are guns, That team is deadly. You can see that they started to take their foot off the bit and try and entertain a little bit more, and it cost them a few tries, but hey, it is what it is. The game is pretty much in the bed by then.
100%. Talking about game in the bed, I don't think this game really ever started for the England squad, but the Jillaroos smashing the English women's squad 90-4. We won't really touch on too much of the game, guys, because honestly, it was just a shellacking. But there's obviously been a lot of conversations over, was this the right game to put on Vegas round for the women's game, to showcase women's game? Where do you kind of sit on that? Do you feel like it was a little bit unfair for the English women, or do you feel like at the end of the day, like if you put the New Zealand girls out there, it'd probably be a closer contest, but like New Zealand only just played Jillaroos in that Pacific Championship recently, so I guess that's really what happened.
Yeah, look, great performance from the Jillaroos. They're once in a lifetime women's team. That Jillaroos team, they're deadly. I've seen a lot of people get up on multis for that game. I did get up on one, but I could have loaded up a lot more with the amount of try scorers there were. But nonetheless, yeah, I've seen that they say that they want to drop back to 3 games next year, and they dare say that it'll be a women's game that drops out, which does make sense. The NRLW season doesn't start, so there's no point, chucking a game over there of that. And that Jillaroos team come up against anyone except for New Zealand isn't a good game to watch, let's be honest. So I'd be happy with it dropping back to 3 games for sure.
Yeah, 100%. But shout out to Jillaroos girls, just way too strong for the English girls. The English girls, they're not fully professional yet over there in England. Obviously, they're still working jobs. They don't have the ability of the new NRLW girls. They don't have the facility of the NRLW girls. So a little bit of time before the women's international games gets up to the level, which we have seen in the past, right? There's only been, in the past with international footy for men's league, it was usually just England, Australia, New Zealand. Every other team would get smoked off the park. So definitely, yeah. Hold in there, England girls. You'll be back. And with the Jillaroos girls, just keep smoking, everyone.
Pretty much, bro. Pretty much.
Moving over to the game that broke my heart over the weekend. We had the Canberra Raiders smoking my New Zealand Warriors. Just outclassed, bro, from the start. Ricky Stewart had these guys just fucking humming, especially with obviously an old man over here calling the Raiders a wooden spoon threat. And he's probably put up my ladder and said, look, boys, this Warriors fan thinks he's top 8 and we're wooden spooners. Let's smoke him off the park. But quick thoughts on that, bro?
Yeah, I just feel like the Wars lacked a lot of effort, enthusiasm, which is very shocking. It's a big deal for those guys to get the Vegas gig. They had a lot of fans fly over for it. The signing of like Fisher Harris and everything over the preseason and just didn't deliver. It's not a solo performance. I feel like it was definitely a team performance that let them down. There wasn't any individual person that would have made that better or worse. I just think, they lacked a lot of effort, and it's very disappointing. You don't want to see that in round 1.
Yeah, I'm over this game, guys, because obviously you didn't get to see me on Wise Up TV. I hadn't been on the last couple of nights because I had a wedding to go to and all that. Shout out to Ivania and Tommy Asako now. Really, really great to see those guys elope and, we come together. So it was a beautiful day. But overall, disappointing for me on my end. I'm one of the hardy, obviously, Warriors fans, very positive in that. It was definitely hard to really find positives in that game. I rewatched that a couple of times. There was moments where we held in a contest and that, and then just some really opportunist tries to the Canberra Raiders where a lot of it, I feel like could have been turned around if we kind of turned up from the start, right? So I feel like we started chasing our tail late. We had a lot of lack of direction due to, like, a young, halves that are still kind of learning their positions. I think we can grow into the season for sure. I'm not holding this to this is going to really show what our season is going to be like. I think we all knew that it was going to be an up and down season to season. And with the Raiders, I don't change at the moment or where I sit them just yet, because I saw this last year out of them. They're an emotional side. Ricky will get them up to start the season. It's really what comes to mid to late in the season with the Raiders and how they either stay on course or fall off the pace. And with my Warriors, very similar thing is we're going to learn throughout the season. We're going to have up and downs, and it's really how Webby bounces back with the side there.
Yeah, and I know you've said a lot all week. You wear your heart on your sleeve as a Warriors supporter, so people are quick to give you shit, and you take it like a champ. You're understanding, but you're not quick to jump to ruling out guys or players or make changes after round one, and that's the right thing to do. Don't get me wrong, but if you were to make just one change, whether that's going to fix anything or not, what's one change you would make to the Warriors, player-wise?
Player-wise, well, overall, number one, I wouldn't start Jackson Ford. I would have just ran out with Aaron Clark there. But if you're taking a player that didn't perform and to take out that lineup, it's hard to say, bro. I'm putting a spotlight on Ratani Corday at the moment for the money that we have. I think that Lecker can fill in that role, and he's got some really good youthfulness there. That's going to, I think, bodes well. The other one that I would say that I'm not willing to chop him right now and just be like, put it in, but I was a guy that was really high on Tamade being in the halves pairing, and now it looks like that everyone's sort of turned the ship around and wants Tamade back in that halves jersey. So, but when I saw Chanel Harris-Tavita line up in that team list, I wasn't angry. I was like, all right, this is the way we're going, so let's just hold it together for a little period. We have a bye in round 5. If it doesn't come together by then it's going to have to be a serious look in our halves, because that's really what it comes down to. But yeah, Tamade would be a guy that I think a lot of people have their name, like the name in there. And yeah, that's really where I think. Where do you sit?
Yeah, well, for me, it's not even a matter of just because of how the game went on the weekend. It's more so for what Tamare did for you guys last year when Johnson was out, beat the Panthers playing halfback in an understrength squad, went on 3-game runs in a row when he was the main man without Johnson. And then Johnson come back in, pushed him back to 5'8", a couple of losing games. Again, Johnson out, him back in, another 3-game stint, wins in a row. To me, that should have made him the first crack at half, in my opinion. And I know Metcalf is trying to push to be a 7. He did really well in New South Wales Cup last year. But the best footy we've seen out of him in NRL as well is in that 6 jersey, playing that second fiddle off the ball work. And the best the Warriors have looked in, last season, this season was with Tamare at 7. So for me, he should have got the first crack. Yeah, and that's where I think the Warriors might need to go. I don't think I've seen enough out of Chanel in his whole NRL career at all to potentially get the nod over someone like Tamare. And for me, Metcalf gets the nod over Chanel at the moment. So that's where I stand. I'm not sitting here saying that Chanel doesn't deserve to be in the NRL. I just mean out of the choice you got and what you should start a season with, in my opinion, should have been somebody proven or a bit more proven like Tamare Martin. But that's just my opinion from the outside looking in. Webby's obviously got a plan there. He's seen something in training that, that he likes the way Chanel's trained or performed. And let's hope the Warriors just had a really bad trip, maybe a bit of jet lag, get back home, see their families, and round 2 absolutely brain it. But yeah, just not good signs. Not what you want to see from your team in round 1 that really want to showcase and put a lot on for their fans, knowing that the fans come out a lot in round 1 and quickly criticize. You think that they would have wanted to put on a better performance. But with that said, you showed me some posts over the weekend of Cronulla fans calling for Nico Hines' head, and they lost by 6 points. Saying Jesse Ramian head. Even though Jesse Ramian was like the best player on the park in both teams. So, fans jump to World War III. It's a bit like the news at the moment with the bloody cyclone. It's the end of the world.
Oh, no.
But it isn't. It's round 1. There's plenty to work on, yes, but I think the Wires will be able to turn it around a little bit, and hopefully they had their worst game of the season. You never know, but for me, tomorrow should be that starting spot. Maybe there was an injury cloud, I don't know, but put him back into 7. If you need to, push Chanel to the bench or just have him in that 18th man spot, I believe.
Yeah, 100%, bro. And I definitely see that argument. But also, for guys out there, I am with all this, I'm still backing Chanel, and I think that Chanel is good enough to be able to play that second fiddle in that. but like it's more of the fact of like we need to see this combination grow over time, and if it doesn't work, we need to have questions because you know personally that I'm very high on Samadi Martin. I reckon he can do a job out there. I think that the connection those two had when they had played in the halves before, a lot of people rid off in the trials and said that Samadi was real quiet in the trials, this and that when they played in the Sharks game, but he allowed Metcalf, if Metcalf was going to be our 7, allowed him to take a lot of the big moments in that jersey. Like when Chanel gets in there, Chanel takes half the kicking game. Chanel takes away a lot of the dominance out of Luke Metcalf, where Tamaida, he can play off the back of that, and he did that really well. Or if we did want to run with Tamaida at number 7, he's the more experienced guy out of the players that we have there, and he showed that he can wheel and deal. In that little period for us last year, he had a decent win percentage. And again, we're saying that, I just want to preface all the Warriors fans out there, I'm not calling for Chanel's head, I'm not calling for that just yet, but it is just a thing to continue to watch. But I just laugh at I want to be that guy, right? I'm going to be that guy. Fuck it. I'm going to be that guy. I laugh at all the people that were calling for Tamaide's head and saying, nah, he's not the guy in the off season. And this very similar people turning their look after this and saying Tamaide should be in the halves. He should have been there to start with. Like, I'm going to call out, I was listening to Bloke in a Bar and stuff, and they were like, he's not the halfback, and now it seems to just change so quickly after one game. Like, it just shows rugby league's so reactionary as fans, but the only way you can really build a culture, and what a coach usually does, is he's got to have a sample size first before he can make that change. And, Chanel may be the better option in the future, but it's just it's so reactionary as fans, it's so reactionary as everything. Just allowed us all to work out and to sit where it sits. And as I said to you before, as a Warrior fan, I knew the season was going to be up and down. I knew it. I'd never said we were top 4. I was very positive to put us in top 8, but I believe that bottom of that top 8 can be really anyone at the moment. It showed last year. Newcastle struggled through periods and they found themselves in the top 8. So I think we still have the ability there.
Well, that's exactly what we've said. We've not said that, that bottom of the top 8 is locked up. That 5th to about 12th range is up for grabs. It's as simple as that, in our opinion. But yeah, I 100% agree with you, brother. People are quick to change their mind on things.
100%, bro. 100%. So let's see if we get a win over Manly in a couple of weeks' time. Let's see where all these people change their acts again, right? When they change it all again. But we'll have to wait and see.
The only concern, as I've said to you, for me, is that a lot of people did rate the Raiders as wooden spoon. It's not a strong spine, it's not a strong back line, and for them to just do it with I'd say with ease against you guys, it looked pretty easy. It was just a bit worrying, I guess. Whether it's round 1 or not, it's early or not. Yeah, it's just concerning that guys like Seb Chris and Xavier Savage and the spine that the Canberra Raiders have carved you up the way they did. It just makes you worry that when you come up against strong teams, what can happen. But with that said, it's how you show up on the day, not who you're showing up against. So stay positive.
Thing, right? It really is. Like, we never know. Who knows? Raiders could just come out of nowhere and just be a side that we didn't expect either. But the thing that I'm going to take out of this too, and I think you do exactly the same thing, is I'm not going to change the position of the Warriors off of one game of the season. I'm not going to change my position of the Raiders for one game of the season. It's just going to play out the way it is, and we just got to hold the ship. And again, guys, allow things to grow. Allow their halves to stay together and allow Webby to fix up the problems when he sees fit, right? That's the only way. As soon as we become reactionary, start changing things, we start going for a rotisserie door, we're going to be inconsistent all year and we're never going to hit the potential that we can. So that's just the way footy works. Moving over to the Penrith Panthers and the Sharkies. The Penrith Panthers 28-22 over the Cronulla Sharks. I was so impressed with the Penrith Panthers comparatively to the Sharkies. Although the Sharkies were good towards the end of the game where they were chasing the game. But the Penrith Panthers, what they had to deal with in this game, no trials in this coming into this period. Brian Toto is doing flips in Las Vegas, but he can't play because of a hamstring injury. Case McLean gets knocked out early. No Fisher Harris, no Luai. And they do that. They have Luke Garner playing center. And they do that.
Good as well.
Unreal. The Penrith Panthers, bro, they do it again. Is this 5 straight? Or is this like, are they just, where's your thoughts? I know it's early. Where's your thoughts on Penrith Panthers? Great system.
It's a system, bro. It's just a system. When you got Cleary and Yo, if Cleary is fit, I'll 100% lay my money on it that he would have won the last 5 years, maybe 4 years as halfback of the year. It's as simple as that. But, he hasn't played a whole season, but when he's out there, man, him, Isaiah Yo, Mitch Kenny is so underrated. Dylan Edwards, just
Liam Martin.
the whole anybody. Yeah, Liam Martin, man. How could you not be energized when you see a guy like that on your team? Competing on every kick chase, man, making sure his halfback's not alone in any tackles, taking any hit up that he needs, like just insane. The club culture there at Penrith and the system they got going is just insane. It's, I'm not going to quickly say that they're going to turn it around again this year and win, but man, with a performance like that, how can you not say that they're a chance to win it again? It's as simple as that. If you're a fool to write them off.
100%, bro. 100%. I pretty much echo all your thoughts. I thought Isaac Tungo looked incredible this year. Like, I think that, he's learnt off of his past experiences. He's grown for me. I thought he was fairly underrated fairly early on when he went through that little injury period. And even after that, he was missing tackles, getting caught out of position. He's really stepped up since the final series last year. Comes in this game, looks incredible. Dane Laurie comes off the bench, fills in that wing. Fucking incredible. I echo all your thoughts on Liam Martin. I think he's an incredible player, like to have outside there with Nathan Cleary. And to finish off that, I think Isaiah Yeo stepped up in another level again, since obviously Fish has moved on to the club. Even Lindsay Smith, bro. Lindsay Smith, 50, 60 minutes straight, right?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, he played gun on the back of that Australian debut last year. Absolutely killed it. And Hosier, look, if Cleary goes down, it'll be a lot harder for the Panthers, but they will still make the finals, and Cleary will be back for finals. He's just that type of competitor that he would come back just for finals. And even if the Panthers finish 8 and Cleary is back for finals, you still give him a chance. Look, it'll be a lot harder without Cleary, don't get me wrong, but their system is good enough to the point where the players that come in just know that job, know their job, get the job done. It's as simple as that. You don't see Cleary breaking tackle, scoring tries. So it's just all about the system. Isaiah will still get them to their points, and the halves will have a lot less pressure on them. And, it's up to them if they can capture the moment, which they probably won't as much as Nathan Cleary, don't get me wrong, but they'll still do the job enough to be able to beat a lot of teams and make the finals.
100%. And moving over to the Sharkies' performance there, started off really well, I thought. They're getting Jesse Ramian over. It was kind of like, ooh, here we go. All right, we got a game here. Had a little bit of up and down moments throughout the game, but I think that they'll bode well throughout the season. They'll still be a top 4 side. They'll probably be, as we predicted, around the top 2, top 3, right? Was there anything that worried you about the Sharks' performance out there? Obviously, I was very high on the Penrith Panthers, but that doesn't take away. The Sharkies still a great outfit. I thought Adam fit in fairly well there. He had the poor miss on the try line, which I thought that Nathan Cleary was lining up real early on that short ball. But other than that, I thought in attacking wise, like he's just Adam Fanor-Blake, right? Like he's looking trim, scoring the try to get him back close into this game. What were your thoughts on the Sharkies? Yeah,
look, if they start the way that they started against the Panthers against a lot of teams, they would beat them in the first 15 minutes and other teams would roll over. It's just that the team like the Panthers never quit on themselves. We've seen that in the grand final 2 years ago against the Broncos. So the Sharkies wouldn't have that much of a fight on their hands against a lot of other teams. Let's be honest, other than that, probably top 6 range. A lot of teams would potentially roll over in that first 20 if the Sharks come out the way they did. And then, even the Sharks showed a bit of fight. They got behind in the game. They could have rolled over and said, that's enough, like they have in previous seasons. But, they fought to the end. They got a little bit unlucky there in the end with that call from, I think it was Isaac Tungo dropped it forward, or Alamonte dropped it forward. And the ref didn't call anything. There was a minute 30 left. Penrith probably still would have held them out and wouldn't have made a difference. But they missed that opportunity to have that crack. But that game was so close. It was back and forth. Both teams showed a lot of fight. They didn't roll over. They both wanted to win. If they do that against 90% of other teams, they get the win a lot easier than they did on the weekend.
And the Sharkies fans out there calling for Ramian, Trindles, and Nico Hines' head. It's one game into the season, guys.
You showed me all the experts. You showed me all the experts' opinions on Hines already. Go on, rattle a few off, brother.
Yeah, 100%. Oh fuck, I couldn't remember the names off it. But one. So all right, we'll go. We'll put them up. We'll put them on a blast. Yeah, we'll put it up. All right, here we go. So we got. So the first one that I see here, Scott Sattler believes that Nico Hines should move to a lock forward position. All right. So this is what we're talking about. So these are like, some of the experts in the game. Scotty Sattler played the game, incredible and all that. But this is where everyone's mind shifts to and no one really knows what's going on. There's no like line. Everyone's like, yeah, I agree with that. It's like everywhere, right? He wants to be a lock forward. Then we have Brian Fletcher that wants to demote him to the bench and have Atkinson and Trindle there. So he wants him at 14. And then we have Paul Crawley calling him out for he play fullback because he thinks that he will play a better fullback than Will Kennedy, who had a great game over the weekend. So, bro, like, guys, settle down. It's one game into the season, right?
Did you see the reason for wanting him to play fullback? Because Will Kennedy's online defense is bad. Maybe because he plays fullback.
Yeah. But people don't, I get into this sort of stuff all the time. People don't understand that is an NRL issue. That's not a fullback issue. Like, you know, I get into a lot of like chance, like people calling out chance gets out of position, especially on online defense on the opposite side of the ruck. But Teddy gets caught out with that. Sean Johnson heavily publicized that in his Play On podcast, the way the Panthers attacked Teddy in that final last year. Tommy Turbo gets caught out with that. He's the best fullback in the league when he's healthy. Reece Walsh gets caught out for that. And every person wants Reece Walsh on their side. It's an NRL issue. It's not a fullback issue.
Yeah, it's a coaching thing that, you know, the club is willing to risk their fullback defending in the line and getting caught out of position. It's just what it is. It is what it is. And only the good teams will be able to capitalize on that happening. You know, so it's not so much a defensive issue. It's just that the defense did well to recognize where the fullback was and catch them out of the line. But for Hines playing lock makes no sense to me. You know, you got Cam McInnes there that absolutely kills it. And, you know, Atkinson's a great player, don't get me wrong, but, you know,
he's not Nico Hines. No,
and even if he's playing better than Nico Hines at the moment, maybe it's because Nico Hines is injured and he's trying to play through an injury. Or they're trying to work out the new system of how much ball he gives to Trindle. But him to go to lock, it makes no sense. What are you going to do? Just make him tackle the whole game? And he's not going to be Isaiah Yeo. Isaiah Yeo is a freak. He is a big man with good ball work and an engine. Nico Hines isn't a big man. Probably can't make 40-plus tackles a game as well as hit the ball up and ball play. It's as simple as that. You know, he does a job. He's probably playing through a bit of a groin strain. Probably would have wanted to. If it wasn't Vegas round one, he probably would have pulled out of that game. Let's be honest.
100%. And I believe, like, you know, Tan's got it here. Do you think Nico Hines is a top 5 halfback in a competition? I will go through all the other halfbacks in the comp. He won Daily M in that position. I think he's good enough if he's the halfback in the side and he has someone there. It's the connection between the two of him and Trindle that a lot of people obviously on the qualms about. And if Trindle's running the side, he can play that second fiddle in that halfback jersey and play that 5'8" sort of role. And I think he does really well in that jersey as well. But halfbacks, right? You got obviously Nathan Cleary's number 1, right? You'd probably have DCE around there, maybe number 2.
Jerome Hughes, number 2.
Jerome Hughes, number 2, sorry. DCE, number 3. Adam Reynolds, number 4.
Yeah, DCE, Adam Reynolds around there for, yep.
And then I'll probably have Nico.
Yeah, Nico's got to be top 5, in my opinion. If he's mentally and physically fit, Nico's top 5. You know, same with Mitch Moses. Mitch Moses in that top 5.
Mitchell Moses has got to be in that top 5.
Yeah, Adam Reynolds, Ben Hunt, even though he's in a losing team. You know, so to answer your question, Tans, yes, I do have a fit, healthy Nico Hines top 5. As for GT saying I'm a big C and K hater, bro, you make NRL run 300+ meters a game. Let me see if you're any good, all right?
Yeah, and the one game of the weekend, that's a poor game for CNK, and we've seen him consistently do well for us. Obviously, you know, at the moment, as I think a lot of things with rugby league people don't understand too, a lot of rugby league players are dealing with being publicized and, you know, things like, you know, people get stereotyped, and as soon as a content creator or like, you know, someone really high up labels someone, a lot of the masses sort of move over to and they think that exact same thing. Unfortunately, Nico Hines has been called out with mentality issues, stuff like that. So a lot of people are going to really have that view on Nico, but people got to forget that, like, the guy won a Daily M at halfback. The Sharkies were one of the best attacking units for a long period of time due to Nico Hines and how he plays his football. It's just, I feel like at the moment, as soon as you get labeled something, it's so hard for people to really see anything else now, and you just get put on that shelf. And unfortunately, he doesn't have the ability, even if he plays his best football, that people will be like, all right, you're not that overrated guy. You're still going to be overrated. It just happens with everyone.
Exactly. And it's going to be a lot worse for the Sharks now because everyone's putting them as heavy hitters since the AFB signing. So, it is what it is.
Good little rant for your Wednesday. It's really good. But that's the whole thing. Right? I feel sometimes for a lot of players like that, they get labeled something and they're unable to change it. And people just, they listen to, as we touched on before, like certain experts of the league and that, which like we're not claiming we're experts either. But the whole thing is like, when people view set on those experts and then we had 3 different experts have 3 different takes on a player, it's like, well, there's no line there. There's no, like, you know what I mean, right? Everyone has so many different views. Who's the one to listen to?
Exactly. Like Nico, I know you're not watching, brother, but look, don't listen to two back rowers that are, now reporters and,
Mm-hmm.
probably didn't ever have to play halfback in their life. Don't
Yeah.
listen to them saying that you need to move position, brother. Like, it's as simple as that. Like, they're back rowers saying where you need to do and what you need to do. And they never won a Daily M, or, they probably never got even back row of the year. So you've won a Daily M. You got halfback of the year. Just keep doing what you're doing, brother.
100%, bro. 100%. Just let these guys live. It's one game, guys. It's one game. Anyway, continuing on, bro. Moving over to the other big news around. Actually, this is what I should have got to before Vegas. Andrew Abdo comes out and confirms that there's going to be a rugby league game coming out this year. It's still obviously a wait and see. I haven't seen the actual publisher of this game. A publisher? Oh, that doesn't sound like a good word.
Publisher.
But anyway, continuing. Publisher. There we go. Fucking hell, I can't speak right now. But they haven't come out and confirmed this, but Andrew Abdo has confirmed this. My question to you, bro, if a game was to come out this year, what game mode do you want in that game? Or what do you expect out of that game?
What game mode do I want?
Yeah, what game mode? So we're talking, have you played Ultimate Team on FIFA? Do you want like a really good in-depth online mode? Like what's your thing your itch you want to scratch with an NRL game?
I want an online game mode where motherfuckers can't leave the game if you score a try on them. They need to stick it out for the whole game, because that shit used to happen way too much on Rugby League Live, brother. You'd be, up by 12-0 or something, and motherfuckers would quit the game.
What do you mean? I did that in real life on you, bro. As soon as you start passing to Josh Morris and just skipping around players, I'm just going to walk away.
And it's funny because I can walk into the other room and slap you over the back of the head. No, look. Bro. I want the graphics to be solid, bro, and I just wanted it to be as realistic as possible. Like a bit like a Madden game. They've been able to achieve it. I don't see why we can't. Why not have like a rookie career mode where you start in like Q Cup, New South Wales Cup, and then work your way forward. But the best game for me is the Nintendo Wii. Rugby League Live. That was the best one, I believe.
Yeah. I enjoyed that one. My other one I really loved was I think it was Rugby League Live. Not Rugby League Live. Yeah, Rugby League Live 2.
The chat's
Rugby
going
League
Live
2. The chat's going mental. Rugby League Live 2, bro. Where I think it was there was the year 2012, I think. Sean Johnson and the Warriors, they were like highly rated, so it was so good to play with them. Shawnee was just burning everyone. Ben Barber with the Dogs. It was just pretty much, I was just recreating all Ben Barber's tries, just getting to the try line, run it all the way back. But yeah, that was my favorite game. Honestly, bro, for me, what I would love out of this game is an Ultimate Team mode. I know AFL tried it last year. It took ages before it even got even released with the game. So the game released first, and they just didn't release it with it. But if Big Ant is doing this, they need to release it with the game and hopefully polish it over time. But I think that's a good way to fund this game overall into the future. We see, I know it's obviously not best practice overall. Your micro transactions, you're spending money on the game, and you're going to get people caught up like gamblers and stuff like that, wanting to get the best cards. But if you think about it, if you want that company to get a lot of money and make another game even better, get better graphics and all that, I think that would be the best way to start about it. Could you imagine playing with the legends, for you, a Legends Ben Barber, a Daily M Ben Barber in your Ultimate Team side that you pick all these best players? That would be incredible online.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to put Ben Barber in the game, brother.
Yeah, no,
I wish, but I don't see it. But yeah, I get you 100%, brother. They need to do something. And, I reckon the AFL game flopped because maybe all AFL supporters are like 50 plus, let's be honest. I feel like there's no new generation of AFL supporters, in my opinion.
And Brody strikes on the AFL fans out there. But Jose, was that the one with the Benji on the cover? Yes, that was the one with Benji on the cover, the one I was speaking about. The one where Brody was speaking about, that had Steve Price on the cover, right?
I think so, bro. I couldn't tell you. I was young, but the Nintendo Wii one, man, was the best. In my opinion, it was the best.
Bro, who would be your Ultimate Team player cards? Obviously Ben Barber, we speak about that, but for me, I would love to have
Billy Slater,
Golden Boot Darren Lockyer, yeah, Billy Slater, Golden Boot Sean Johnson, have him high rated Sean Johnson.
Yeah.
Who would you? Bobcat? Would you have Andrew Ryan on your edge back row? You're a Sonny Bill. You'd be a Sonny Bill man for sure.
Sonny Bill, yeah. Andrew Ryan, Matty Utai, Azam's goal kicking. You know,
Hasm's goal
if you had
kicking.
Hazard goal kicking, you wouldn't miss one. Let's be real. JT, yeah,
Yeah.
there's a few out there, brother. Like, there's a few out there for sure.
And that's what I mean, guys. With stuff like that, you could buy cars like that. I'm sure people would fucking fall in love with that. So hopefully the NRL will come out and even just first on basis, just make a good game. And then whatever comes from that, if there's good game modes and all that, but make a really cool game. I'm sure rugby league fans are all crying out for it, and make sure it's all cross-platform so we can all play with each other. I reckon that'll be incredible. But yeah, that's pretty much all the news that we got out of it. Let's move over to this weekend coming. As I do joke with, hopefully we get to watch these games over the weekend. And the first one to talk about, we have the Broncos versus the Roosters. You know, both sides naming a decent, full strength lineup, majority full strength lineup here. Obviously, the Roosters know Sammy Walker and that. This game, it was stayed at Sydney. It didn't get moved. What were your thoughts on this game here? Who do you reckon is going to come out with this one?
Yeah, I think the Broncos shouldn't lose this game. Again, they've got a lot to prove after a poor season last year, a bit like the Wars, to see that 2023 season wasn't a joke. You know, you look at that team there, Adam Reynolds, Ben Hunt in your halves, like, you know, Reece Walsh, Cobbo, Carrigan, House. Like, where do you stop the talent? Whereas you're coming up against, you know, a Roosters side that's struggled a little bit in preseason. Bit of a coin flip of who's going to be playing in the centers for them, who's going to be coming off the bench for them. And the Broncos should be way too strong. You know, Madge, lot to prove. You know, a lot to prove to their supporters that we've changed from last year. We're going to bounce back. We've worked a lot. We've worked hard preseason. All right, time to see it. They looked really good in the trial against us. I've got the Broncos winning this one, 13+.
Yeah, I'm definitely on that with you. Big notable names here. We got Shibasaki stealing a center role here. Big news there. Obviously, Katoni Staggs is out with this with the Broncos lineup here. So Dean Mariner comes into that center. And with the Roosters, for me, being a Supercoach man, Sua Wong's been named on the bench, which is not a great start there, but I'll probably still hold on and see how we go. But yeah, I'm going with you, bro. I think the Broncos should be able to do that one, 13+. Moving over, we got the Tigers versus the Newcastle Knights on a Friday, first game Friday night. Big talking point here. Jareen Buller is out at the start of the season with a little back injury, I'm pretty sure I saw. No, shoulders injury, sorry. I think it was a shoulder injury. So Heath Mason comes in the back there, and a really cool little video coming out of Tristan Hope getting his debut jersey there for the Tigers.
I haven't seen that yet.
But you haven't seen that, bro? Benji brings him in, and pretty much this kid has moved his and his family to Sydney to try and give this one a crack. And I think he's 27 years old, so well done for him.
Fuck, give me a call, Benji.
But well done to Tristan. He's worked so hard. He's got that jersey. The other big talking point, Jack Bird starting off the bench. We saw that in trial, so obviously they are running that way. Alex Twal starts in that 13 jersey, so a very interesting call there from Benji. No Api Coruscant due to suspension to start the season. But where are you swaying in this game, brother?
I'm going to go with the Knights. I think I liked what I've seen from the trials. Tigers still a bit unproven. I like Buddy Best and Gay Guy in the centers. I feel like they'll cause a bit of havoc there with Ponga. I dare say. The Knights, you know, not too much change from last year. Tigers have still got to gel, find their feet. But how about yourself?
Yeah, I'm going to go to the Knights here. I do think the Tigers will take a little bit before they gel. I think that Jerome Luai will definitely hold up his end of the bargain. I think we all agree with that, but it doesn't mean that he's going to be the one to drag the Tigers out of it if they can't defend. And I think that's been the issue for me that I still am waiting on to see how they go in proper first game of the season. I want to see defense, and they're going to get tested against a Newcastle Knights team that has got a lot of guns across the park that they're going to fire, especially down that left side. KP, Braden Best, Greg Marju, I think they're going to really strip them on that edge. And it's really up to the Tigers to show what they're made of to start the season here. But I got the Newcastle Knights. I think they're going to get it done 13+.
Oh, 13+. All right. I was going to say maybe, 6+, but yeah, big call. I can see it though. The Knights are got a lot of points in them. Let's be honest. And then, it's going to test if the Tigers can withstand the tide and not roll over like we've seen in previous seasons. Tristan Hope though, is he a back?
He is a hooker. He can play in that 13 role as well.
Okay, because I'm just looking at their bench, and I'm seeing Royce Hunt, Jack Bird, and Fainu. Bird and Fainu are back rowers. Bird playing the centers, probably in the halves. Royce Hunt coming off the bench will probably swap with Polly.
Which means play big minutes.
Yeah, so that answers a lot for me, Supercoach wise. If Terrell May will be a good pickup, whether it's a good pickup or not, he's going to be playing big minutes here, and I think he'll get through a fair bit of work. He's going to have to get through a fair bit of work because it doesn't look like he's going to get a spell. I guess Alex 12 will move up front when Jack Bird comes on, to be honest, as well. So, but, we're going to see Terrell May play 50 plus. And whether that's a good 50 minutes or not, previous seasons told us points per minute are pretty good. But for me, after Lindsay Smith's game, I'm going to hold off Terrell May and go with Lindsay Smith because he got through a ton of work. But we'll move on to Supercoach a bit later on. But just keep this team list stuff up because I would like to use it when we go through Supercoach as well, brother.
Yeah. 100%, bro. 100% will do. We got the Rabbits versus the Dolphins. So this game has been moved to CommBank Stadium from what I've heard. So definitely big news there due to the cyclone. With these team lists here, big notable ones. Junior Tupou finds his spot on the wing with Bostock out due to injury since the trials. Daniel Saifidi gets a starting front row spot. Finay Fuiaki gets a starting left edge spot by the looks of it with match play. What do you got going on there?
No. Keep going. I was just having a giggle to myself.
You're a mad guy. Also, on the Rabbitohs side of things, massive news there. Cody Walker comes back with the calf injury. He is in the lineup in that 6 jersey. We've got Bud Sullivan in that 14 jersey off the bench. Lockie Hubner, a guy that we were high on getting that 13 jersey. He does so. He's going to be playing for the middle. And Campbell Graham comes back even with the worry with the broken hand. So that's great to see. Supercoach fans, if you wanted to go that way, he's definitely an option, but definitely a worry with that broken hand still. So we'll have to wait and see how he looks in this game overall. And Jai Gray getting a fullback jersey with no Latrell Mitchell. Where is your head lying?
I love Humphreys at half. I really do. I got big raps on that guy. Isaiah Tass looks like he's going to be on the left wing. That's good for my Supercoach, but I have traded him out actually because I don't really see me picking him on the bench, and I've just gone with a cheapie that's got to start. I know I'm touching on Supercoach already, but anyway.
No, that's fine. We'll do it anyway, yeah.
Lockie Hubner, bro, gun. Looking forward to his minutes that he gets through in that 13 role. There's a lot of guys that play that lock back row on the bench, so I don't know if he's going to play a lot of big minutes. But with that said, Moali and Kepi both don't get through a lot of big minutes. They play probably in most 40. So I dare say we'll see Jai Arrow move up front when someone like Tellus Duncan comes on or whatever. And what I was having a giggle about was I didn't think Nicarima was named. And after his wife came out and had a bit of a spill about them getting moved, yada, yada, yada. I didn't see him named for a second, and I was like, what are you complaining about? But now I see that he's at 5'8", so I was like, oh, never mind. But at the end of the day, like, if you don't want to leave your family, I'm sure if you went to your coach and said, look, can I be ruled out this week? I'm sure he would be like, yeah, no worries. Like
100%.
It's not good when the wives come out. We've seen what happened to Tarpany 2 years ago or whatever it was when he came out and he got benched,
Yeah.
It's just you're staying at home, not working. just be happy. Like I get it. I get it. I really do. But like, it's the footy season, love. Half of Australia are keen for the footy season. The games must go ahead.
The games must go ahead. I love that from you, bro. I love that from you. Also, big news there. Tavita Totola. Tavita Totola is on the bench here too, coming back off a long-term injury. So good to see both Campbell Graham and Tavita Totola back for the Rabbitohs this season, especially with all the injury clouds over a lot of players for the Rabbitohs. So definitely good eyes there. Who have you got in this game overall, brother?
I'm going to go with the Dolphins just because I love their back line. So much strike there. I love Walker and Humphreys in the halves. And with that said, Jack Whiten and Campbell Graham, the back line for the Rabbits is looking pretty good as well. But I feel like the Dolphins will get this one done. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm going to sway the way of the Dolphins. Again, it's just like I feel like this is going to be a close game, this one. I really do. I think that the Dolphins, the firepower they have out back, having a player like Hamiso and stuff, are probably feeding in behind the ruck. The Rabbitohs in this like little forward role here, they got Sean Kepi, David Moali and that, and with that bench rotation, I think the Hammer can do a little bit of damage behind there, especially if he runs off the back of like a Daniel Saifidi or something like that. And hopefully Daniel Saifidi steps up when he's at the Dolphins. But it's definitely a wait and see because Cody Walker, depending on how he's going with that calf injury, if that left hedge starts humming, I think there's a little bit of worry signs, especially if Isaiah Katoa is going to be defending on that side. So I'm going to go Dolphins. I think it's going to be close. So 6+ margin, I think.
Yeah, I think 1-12, but I'm saying it's 40-30 a scoreline. It'll be a high scoring game, even though the winds will be up and stuff like that. I still go with the Dolphins. A very high scoring game. And with that said, couple of quick questions in the chat. Tommy Gilbert, captain. Yep. Yeah, well deserved. The dude's a freak. You know, sad that he missed the season last year. And Hubner over Kobe Harrington. Yes, only because I feel like Hubner will play a lot more minutes than Kobe. You know, Paddy Carrigan will move back to lock once he goes off, even though Paddy Carrigan's up front at this stage, in my opinion, because he'll play bigger minutes because he's fitter, gets through a lot more. And Hubner's about $120K cheaper. He's a bottom dollar cheapie, so his price rise will be a lot more than Kobe Harrington's.
Yeah, I'm probably backing you on that one for sure too. I think that Lockie's probably in track for a long minute role there at the Rabbitohs due to no Cam Murray. And I don't really see anyone taking it off him unless they move Kalon Matangi into that middle. So, and I don't think that will really happen anytime yet. Moving over to your game over the weekend, my brother. You got your Doggies versus the Dragons. Going to be a really great game out there at, I didn't get to see where it was at. I am sorry. Where's it? Your home game? No, here we go. Netstrata Jubilee. So it's a Dragons home game here. Big notable names on this team list overall. Obviously, the new names for the Dragons, Clint Gufferson. We got Valentine Holmes, Tuli Polotu, and Matthew Vangai get both of the wingers roles there. Fengai. So very interesting. No Tyrell Sloan. So I have to wait and see what that sort of bodes for the rest of the season. And also no, was it Finau, right? The young winger that they had. So for Supercoach fans, that definitely doesn't bode well for you guys. Haas pairing Lockie Ilias and Flanagan. We all knew that. Damien Cook starting the game. Emre Gula, Toby Couchman starting off. So Couchman's obviously had a great preseason. He's held on to that front row spot there. Over with the Doggies, pretty much top to bottom, very similar team list as last year, but there's one little name here. Satili Tupanua getting the club debut. Very, very excited for that one, brother.
Yeah, I am very excited. I'm excited to see how we use him. You know, he's going to either play up front. He's not going to play lock forward, let's be honest, because Bailey Hayward's going to move into that lock forward role once Kurt Mann's done his dash. So, yeah, he's going to play through the middle. So we're going to be playing with a fairly small front row pack once we hit that bench. You know, Harry Hayes used to be a half lock. Jamin Salmon, center, half. Bailey Hayward, half hooker. And Tupanua, second row center. So, you know, we're not carrying any fronties on the bench. I love the way we play, very fit and agile. Yeah, I think we're good enough to get this one done. I think we'll get it done 1-12.
One thing I was looking for is what is going on with Josh Curran, who's suspended. Sorry. So it was suspension. Yep. So no Josh Curran. Josh Curran probably would have been in Harry Hayes' spot, would you believe, if that lineup was to run true?
Probably Jamin Salmon's spot.
You reckon?
Yeah, I feel like they're pretty high on Harry Hayes and the work he gets through. And he's a bit bigger body than Jamin Salmon because we've been playing Harry Hayes up front. I'm a bit sad to see Curtis Moran not actually get that spot over one of those two either.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely got a good 1-2 punch there with Bailey Hayward and Kurt Mann. Kurt Mann, definitely the forgotten man for some, obviously with the Doggies form kind of teetering off towards the end of the season due to his injury and stuff like that. Him back in the lineup, I think you guys are going to absolutely love him again. He's going to go fucking mental. Yeah,
defensively so sound through that middle for us, which really surprised me. I didn't really rate Kurt Mann when he was in the merry-go-rounder positions at the Knights. But found his home there at that lock forward role in our system. So, yeah, Doggies 1-12 for me. Sorry, Dad, but, you know, it is what it is.
Sorry, Dad. Sorry, Nat. And then Nat, if he's in the chat. Sorry, Ned.
No, I'm not sorry to that guy.
I reckon it's going to be a really close game in this one, bro. I really do. I think the Dragons obviously want to fire very early on, as most teams that are going to be fighting for that middle 8 role, bottom 8 role usually are to start the season. But I think you get it done, especially with the defense there. So I'm going Doggies 1-12 as well.
Yeah, no worries, Tans. Thanks, mate.
Dragons want to tell for tons. I love it. I love it. All right, moving over to, we got the Manly Seagulls versus the Cowboys at 4 Pines on Saturday. Team list here, we got Braden Burns getting that wing spot off of Robert Derby. So interesting move there. I love Braden Burns and what he brings. So hopefully he stays healthy. I think that's the biggest thing with him. Jackson Purdue gets that center role. Viliami Vailea gets the other center role. So Laybuck goes back to Cup. Thomas Duffy gets the 7 jersey for the Cowboys, but we do have Jake Clifford sitting in the reserve, so that may be a game time one. But from all we hear, Duffy has won that 7 jersey overall. And getting to see the new recruit for the Cowboys, John Bateman, and also Carl Lawton on the 14 at the bench. I love that signing for the Cowboys. Pretty much an upgrade on newer Jake Granville for me. So that's a really good little signing there. Over to Manly Seagulls, a really strong team list, top to bottom here. They have not got... Who are they missing? Jason Saab's on the wing. Leo Hopolade's there. So no Tommy Talau. I think that's an injury from memory. So I have to wait and see how they go for the rest of the season there. But shout out to Lehigh Hopolade getting a top 30 spot as well. And then also starting up front, we got Taniela Paseka and also Takiaho. So that's a really good 2-1-2 punch there. But Paseka's been fighting off an injury to get back there. Jazz Tavanga at number 9 is a bit of a question for me. But other than that, where do you see this game going?
Well, that actually just shocks me. I don't understand that move, but hey, if that's worked for them in the preseason, why not? I've got Manly and I've got them 1-12, but again, a big scoreline. I'm going to go 36-30.
Yeah, I'm going to go Manly in a close one as well. I think that with the Cowboys, obviously the young spine's probably going to take a little bit to gel for me yet, especially Tom Duffy's first game in proper first grade. So that's going to be real interesting. And when you got DC on the opposite end of the park, it's a ton of experience. This spine's been together for a little while other than Jazz. I think Manly going to get it done. But Jazzy at 9, really interesting one for me there. A really interesting one. Look, he has the ability, as a Warriors fan, I've seen him do it. Never liked him doing it though. Yeah,
look, I like the move because I don't know if I like the move, but I like the move for the fact that they're defensively going to be stronger than Jake Simpkin playing that 9 role. And they don't need Jazzy to do anything but pass off the deck. When you got halves like Luke Brook, Daly Cherry Evans, and that back line, you just need clean ball off the deck. And Jazzy's played 9 before. He grew up playing 9. He can provide that. And other than that, they're just going to want him to be defensively sound and really tie in these middles, which he will do. So that Manly squad is actually very solid. If you look at it in that opinion, they don't need somebody that's going to dart out a dummy half and run 40 meters, look to play through the forwards so much. It's more so get the ball to your halves that know what they're doing, get Tommy Trbojevic involved with the back line, and we're going to kill them that way. And then, you got Simpkin off the bench that will probably come on at that 25, 30-minute mark anyway. That will look for those holes where there's lazy markers.
You know what? Yeah. The one name there that you just said, I think it's Tom Trbojevic. Enough said, right?
It is, brother. It really is. And, and I think that's why the Cowboys went with Braden Burns. They've gone with 2 young centers there. They got the more experienced wingers outside of them to really talk to them in defense. Braden Burns is a lot more experienced than Robert Derby. And I'm not saying he's better or whatever like that. But, that communication of experience will help a lot. I don't think 100%. It's going to help too much, to be honest, because Manly's still probably going to carve them. But yeah, a couple other things is Bullimore not getting the starting role for front row is going to upset my fantasy team, but I've already traded him out. I didn't go with Jeremiah Nanai this week because he's coming up against Hamoli, which I think he will struggle to score.
Defensively, that's a big one there, right? That's definitely going to be a big spot. Jeremiah Nanai and Tom Dearden, both, Tom Dearden defensively, is fairly solid as a number 6, but Jeremiah Nanai has been known for defensive issues in the past, so definitely needs to fix up in that area. And when you got Hamoli Olakawatu running at you, it's going to be a tough one. So I got Manly 1-12 in a big scoring game, just like you. So yeah, that's really where I'm swaying with that one. Moving over to the Melbourne Storm versus the Parramatta Eels, and this one is at Amy Park. The Melbourne Storm naming a massive lineup here. Incredible lineup. We got Ryan Papenhuyzen coming back off injury. Great to see there. They got the halves of Cameron Munster and Jerome Hughes. Incredible. Stefano Atikamanu gets that starting front rower spot there, playing off the back of Harry Grant. It's going to be really interesting. And then that bench, Tyron Wishart, Alec McDonald. Shout out to your call. Alec McDonald never misses your side, right? Never misses.
Never.
Kamikamica. and Lazarus Vaalipu. So who's the guy that we had in that side that missed out in that lineup?
I think we had Nas, didn't we? But he was out. But
Yeah.
if that's not correct, no, that is correct. Because if you look at their reserves, there's nobody else there that we would have named.
No, there was no Nas. So they're missing Nas. Is there a reason here? I haven't seen anything. There's nothing here on what happened to Nas.
And he's not even in the reserves. Is he suspended?
I'm really not sure. I can't remember off the top of my head.
No, but other than that, we hit that lineup bang on. But I said somebody else instead of Lazarus, which I think was Nas. And I think you said Nas over McDonald.
Yeah. But anyway, really, really solid lineup top to bottom there. No,
but anyway, Storm 20 plus.
Anyway, 20 plus. Yeah, they don't lose to start the season, right? Really? Should we touch on it? Nah, we move over to Isaiah Ongi getting the fullback jersey. Great call there. Would love to see him, obviously, Supercoach wise. The big news out of this game, no Mitchell Moses due to the foot injury. Ronald Volkman comes into that 7 jersey. How do you feel about that, bro? Mitchell Moses not starting the season there, and all the rumors are that foot injury may be a decent one as well. Could go on for a couple of weeks. So Ronald Volkman could become a buy for the Supercoach fans out there too.
Pending his injury, yeah, I did see something on Instagram before I jumped on here, but I didn't have time to read it. I don't know if you want to try and pull that up on your phone because I've got the YouTube chat up. But yeah, he could be a buy for Supercoach for sure. But for me, if I was the Eels, I would have probably held off on that fucking 5-year deal. But yeah, no Adokar either. Is he suspended for more than 1 week?
Yeah, he's suspended for more than 1 week. I think he's not back till round 3 or 4.
Okay. Other than that, the Eels lineup, Jack Williams didn't get a starting front row, but he got a starting back row, which is interesting considering he played front row through the trials. So good on Joe Offa-Hengawi there for getting the nod at front row. And then the young fella Riley Smith on the bench.
All right. Yeah, also good to see Jack Williams get a spot there. Not in the middle. I'm guessing that's come down to, I'm not too sure what spot he took up there, but Kelvin Tuolungi getting that one edge. So very interesting there. Jack Williams, did you have him on your squad in Supercoach? Do you still have him now?
Nah, I've traded him out. I've traded him out like 6 times. I've traded a lot of players in and out.
And just, I think it's Tahi confirming there in the chat. I think Nas is suspended till round 2 or round 3. And I'm just going to double check on that just so we're right on there as well. And
I try and find this thing on Moses.
But shout out to Charlie Geimer also getting a role on the bench, a guy that I have on Supercoach. Very high on him in that Eel system. So very interested to see. But, it's not really too much to say here. Craig Bellamy's record in round 1s and just Melbourne's record in general. He's going to be unreal. Yeah, so Nelson obviously had dangerous contact that he got in the preliminary final was $1,000 fine because he missed the grand final. So I'm guessing, it must have been a decent size suspension there. That's all I could find. Yeah.
So the one that you sent me, bro, was the Eels are unsure on when Mitchell Moses will be able to return from a foot injury and are taking caution approach. We'll continue to monitor Mitch's recovery and make an assessment on a return date next week. Okay, so nothing really said about when he will return.
All right, Mitchell. Sean Lane's is out till round 2, and Keone Kautonga is out till round 3 as well, who could have got that edge spot. That's the reason why Jack Williams is on the edge. And Nas is out till round 3. So really, really interested to see there. Shout out to Rod McGrath. Moses back round 3. So hopefully Ronald Volkman will hold the ship. He's an incredible player. I'm massively high on him. Everyone knows that. So where are you swaying in this matchup? Obviously you're going to go with Melbourne Storm.
Yeah, Melbourne Storm. Massive scoreline. I'm going to say 18 plus.
Sweet, guys. Sweet. Yeah, sorry to bog you down there, guys. I'm going Melbourne Storm. I'm going to go 1-12, though. I think it's going to be a pretty tight one. I think Parramatta are going to try and hold into this one. But I can see the 13-plus play.
Come on,
I can see the 13-plus play. All right, that was our last game, too, but I thought there was one more game. But obviously, Vegas has taken a couple of games away. Moving over to more Supercoach talk, brother. So I'll start off with my side. So at the moment, unfortunately, I've got Corey Horsburgh, fortunately, incredibly. But also I've got Case McLean and Luke Metcalf that both did not score too well. Other than that, the two big gun halves that we have, obviously Nathan Cleary and Nico Hines, 68 and 50. Not too bad, but not what we wanted to see either. I think that first game of the season is fair crack, but I would love to see probably a little bit more out of them. We want to see the 70s or so out of those boys.
Which
100%. Nathan got pretty close to.
And look,
But
professional athletes do play different on different grounds. So a new ground of playing in Vegas will have an effect as well on how players play, especially playmakers. The field was a little bit smaller, things like that. Just comms. Nathan Cleary's first game of the season, no trials. Things like that are going to, affect the scoring. So don't scare that too much on going for those guys. But yeah, they'll be fine.
100%. With other, pretty much top to bottom, very same as what I've revealed to you guys last week. I got Shibasaki now on the bench. I moved out. Who do I have? Tyron Munro, and I've got Greg Marju in to my lineup. So that was my big play there. And also edge back row. I still got Wong in my lineup, even though he's on the bench. That's a bit of a worry for me. But I will try and do some moving around and see what I can play around with. And Stewart getting my bench role. And also I got a question here in the chat. Thoughts on Hamish Stewart, just a fill-in role? I think for an early period, yes, but has the ability to hold on to a bench role. A really good little forward that they have there at the Dragons. And I'm sure that he's going to be full of energy with his little debut there. So.
Yep, nice. Okay, well, they got a few young ones that you can go for. You got the other Couchman brother as well that's in the back row if you needed to free up some cash in the back row. You're not tempted to put Hubner over Wong?
I am tempted for sure. Probably playing for a longer minutes. He's probably have more ability than Wong. I think Wong is a little bit more suited to Supercoach with tackle breaks and stuff like that if he comes off the bench. But Hubner with the longer minute role probably will end up scoring a little bit better this week. So he'll probably be my little move there, to be honest, too, right?
Or someone like White, but I know you can't really trade one of those guys to front row either to get White into the team.
Possibly drop Wong to Hunt and then push White to my second row unit.
To Hunt.
So if I take out Wong, I'll drop White to my second row and then they'll free up that bench role and I'll put Royce Hunt. I could possibly do that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but I'd rather not have two Tigers there too. So
that's true, but I don't know. If Wong didn't get the starting position now, it concerns me that he'll get it at all. And that, he might still score off the bench. He might take up the White role and Maui role from last year that scored well off the bench.
Yeah, and that's what I was kind of thinking. So at the moment, I'm going to hold him there. Hubner will probably start for the weekend. I've got 30K left.
How much?
301, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, so if that's the case,
318.
Yeah, okay. So you're not going to downgrade much cash, maybe 100K.
Yeah.
But 100K is a lot at this time of the year, right?
Yeah, 100%. So definitely a lot of thinking before I get through the rounds. But obviously, guys, we still got unlimited trades before the round starts, and they could be game time decisions. So I'm waiting on late mail and seeing really what happens and whether everything lies out overall. But that is my side at the moment, guys. I haven't really moved too much around. I don't believe in rage trading. Did I have Dylan Lucas last week?
No, you didn't.
I put in Dylan Lucas as well.
Over
I think
Nanai.
that with the over Nanai, yes. So that freed up a little bit of cash, so I can end up getting Marju as well. So that's kind of how I played that.
Yeah, I like it. Metcalf let us down. That was still a bit of an unknown move. I guess we were just more hopeful with that, but we'll bang on the money with Horsburgh, and Casey McLean was unlucky. The rest of our moves so far have been pretty spot on. What do you think? Are you pretty happy with what you scored so far, other than obviously Casey McLean getting knocked out?
Yeah, 100%. And honestly, you know me as a person, I'll just let them play out first before I start looking at trades and stuff. I really want to see where they lie because I saw something. I like Casey McLean, a head knock. Obviously, he's got the weak recovery, so he has the ability to maybe get back. So I'm okay, even though his break even's low, but I think that he can score fairly well. Luke Metcalf, obviously the spotlight's on him now, but I'm kind of banking on maybe that him finding his role and probably seeing a lot more points and not getting, because pretty much, as you said before, the Warriors in general, they were fairly poor over the weekend. So if we can turn a lot of our performances around, I think Metcalf will end up scoring fairly well. But there is the ability for me to go Dewey up to 6 and then trading Metcalf for someone else.
Yeah, 100%. I don't have that luxury. I don't have another 5-8 option, so I'll have to completely burn a trade if I wanted to get Metcalf in. Get Metcalf out, sorry.
Yes, and it could free up cash. Oh, that's the thing. You probably have to hold cash around that, right? Because Metcalf being 400K to get up to someone. It's probably
I'm holding decent cash at this stage, as you will soon see.
100%. I'm just going to try and log into your Thing
So,
here.
so with those two unlucky marks, what is your new hopeful score for this round? You know, a lot of people would have had Metcalf and McLean, so you're not alone
Yep.
on those two bust.
Yep.
And you know, a lot of people would have had Nico and Cleary, so you're not alone on those two scoring average. So, what is your hopeful score finalized by the end of round this week?
I think the low thousands. I think that will hold us very well. I think there's still ability there to score fairly well. But I'd love to see it get over to like the really low thousands. I think just tipping that edge. If it goes just under to the 970s, 990s, I'll be like, yeah, but I'd love to get around that 1,000 mark.
Yeah, you didn't show what you're on at the moment, brother, for the week. But you can check. You can check that in our league when you log into mine.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Moving over to Brodie's squad overall, as you were just touching on before, had Casey McLean, had Luke Metcalf, unfortunate, but the two big gun, number 7 still there and did okay work, obviously, overall. Corey Horsburgh, a big one there. I think the first play with Brayley, really good play there. 62 is not too bad for a hook up front.
Yeah, for round one, hooker as well. You know, they need a lot of match fitness to get really going in the point side of things. So yeah, 62, I can't complain there with Brayley. I don't think Reed Marnie will score more than that. I'll be surprised if he does. So I'm pretty happy with that move there.
100%. I've currently updated on my score, bro. 195 right now, so nearly at 200. Yeah, still a little bit away to go, and I'll need some guns to fire. I'll need like a Harry Grant to fire. I'll need a Ruben Garrick or a Marju, and then especially our fullbacks there that we're still waiting to go, which are going to carry a lot of our points, right?
They will, especially Trbojevic captain. I think we're looking at 200 plus there with the captaincy.
Yeah. Other names obviously coming into this weekend that you got Finau Fuyaki, you got Nafahu White, Lockie Hubner, obviously very high there. Ryan Couchman, how much was he?
He was bottom dollar cheapie. No, that's not. Oh yeah, that is Ryan Couchman.
Yep.
What's Toby Couchman starter? So
Toby Couchman, yep.
I think I traded out. Oh, fuck. I don't know. I don't know who I traded out. I can't. Can you go into options? Is that no? Also optimize. No. See, there's no reverse. Go into undo changes reverse. Actually.
Oh, it doesn't allow me to.
Yeah, normally when you're in a week where you got the two trades, you can just undo your trades. I can't remember. If anybody remembers who I had last week in the back row, let me know in the chat. But I did have somebody there, and then I put Hubner to start so I could free up that cash on the bench. I can't remember for the life of me who it was, brother.
That's all right, bro. Moving over to your back row, your center wings anyway. You got Jermaine Asako, you had the whole time. You had Greg March, you had the whole time. You had Marcelo Montoya, but you went Bronson Sherry.
Yeah. Yep. So I went with Bronson Sherry here. I feel like you'll get through a lot of the work that Montoya gets through out of the back line. We're going to add in, probably 10 more points there for tackles. And I think that we'll see a bit of a try there where he will burn Moses Sully with speed.
Yeah, definitely a safer bet.
Yeah, I think we'll attack down that left edge. He's a bit more on the money, but I think there's a little bit more upside there for me. And I also traded out Isaiah Tass on the bench and got Shibazaki just because
bottom dollar.
I think the Broncos have a lot more points in them this week than the Rabbits. And, he could snag a try assist. His bottom dollar saved me the 100K. Plus, I feel like there's more upside to score points there this week, especially with Campbell 100%. Graham back in. I dare say they're going to go to Campbell Graham a bit more. And Jack Whiten normally doesn't like to pass.
Yeah, he loves to run the ball, man. He's a good ball runner, that guy. Lockie Galvin there, you still had him in your jersey. Obviously, you need him to fire.
That's who I had. I had Cohen Hess. Sorry, brother, to interrupt you. I had Cohen Hess, and he got named on the bench. So I went for a cheaper bench player in Ryan Couchman.
Yeah, beautiful. Obviously, Tino Fa'asul Malawi misses out on this first round, so you'll see him come in the second round, which I like a lot. You definitely, I saw obviously a question here before. No Terrell May, interesting. You've definitely chosen the option of Paddy Carrigan, Tino Fa'asul Malawi as your two. And then you're just going to, are you interested about Terrell May with the minutes that probably up offer? Are you still going to play out on that?
Nah, like Carrigan's going to play a lot of minutes. You look at the Broncos bench, and they're not carrying many fronties. They got a Xavier Williamson and Corey Jensen. Corey Jensen's pretty much going to go a 25-minute stint for Payne Haas to come off.
Yep.
Paddy Carrigan's going to stay on longer than Kobe Harrington, so he's going to move to lock for a Xavier Williamson to come on. So Paddy Carrigan's going to play around 60 minutes, I'm going to assume. Corey Horsburgh's going to score about the same as Terrell May, if not more, on that 61 performance, and he's a lot cheaper. And then Tino, for me, is a lock where I think he's going to be in for a massive year. So I'm probably going to move him to the back row in the weeks to come when I'm ready to go a bit harder in my back row.
So Tans has got some questions here in the chat. You got she says lock players ? How do I get them off the field? So she's probably guessing all the players that have already scored already. Unfortunately, Tans, if they're on the field and they've scored already and they've got the final with the lock next to them, you cannot move them on. They've scored your points, and that will go to your overall tally of points. So unfortunately, you cannot trade those guys out now that are already played. They are locked and loaded in your squad. Everyone else around it, you've got the ability to trade them out and move them on this week. So and the unlimited trades to do so. That would stop coming into round 2 next week.
It'll just be locked out from Thursday to Monday.
Is there anyone on your team list right now that's looking like you're looking to move on, or are you pretty locked in?
Metcalf is going to just be a review as we go. Other than that, I'm pretty locked in at the moment, other than, potentially my back row line. Once I make a bit of cash there, I'm going to look to potentially move, probably Hubner out, depending how many minutes he gets, how he goes. He'll bank me some cash. Jack on the bench there. Once those guys make me cash, like I said, I'm going to move Tino to the back line. Probably move Nafu White into the front row, just on the bench there, and look to trade up for another gun like Angus Crichton, Ali Katoa, and I've got a fair bit of cash sitting there now as well. So I'm pretty fucking happy about that. So very, very for me, if I crack that 1,000 mark, I'll be extremely happy this week with the very unlucky start. But 900 plus, I'll be still pretty content with that. At the moment, I'm sitting on, 257?
257. Yeah, so not too bad to start off with. And I think Blake Brayley's done really well for you there as well. But yeah, you're in the same boat as me. No, Metcalf and Casey McLean. I think there's a lot of super coaches in the same boat in general too. I think a lot of smart super coaches went that way as well. So again, guys, we're so sorry about that little jumble at the end there. Obviously, with the cyclone period, we weren't able to fully flesh out our super coach show. So we just chucked it in at the end there. So I hope you guys did enjoy that. Was there anything more you want to touch on with super coach wise, brother?
Nah, unless anybody's got any questions or needs any help with anything, any advice, I don't know, throw it out there. We've still got a bit of time. We're ahead of schedule, and we've crammed 2 shows into one. So let us know, chat some shit, throw away. The cyclone's still not hit.
We got Levon. We got Levon over here in the chat. He said, I copied a guys called 10 Tenors. Absolutely horrible squad. Levon, listen, mate, you didn't have to copy me, but you know what? We're taking this to the moon. It's not about the first game like the Warriors, bro. It's about the whole season. So stay on track, brother. Stay on track.
You should have copied me, brother. You should have copied me.
Oh, don't ever. And Rod McGrath, well done, guys. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for coming through as well. Has there been a lot of wind or rain at the moment? There's been a bit of wind today, a little bit of rain, but nothing hectic.
Yeah, from the morning to now, the wind's definitely picked up, but rain-wise, nah. And it probably won't hit now because I've chucked out some fertilizer, so.
Yeah, 100%. What were you going to say before that?
Oh, I was going to say, did you receive any teams that we could potentially review?
I haven't got them currently right now that I can put up.
Save for next week.
So, yeah, I'll save it for next week.
Oh, bets for the week? UFC for the week?
Yes. Actually, we'll go through. If you got any bets for the weekend?
I do. I didn't go on any same game multis. Guys have been a lot better on my betting this year. I went through a bit of a rough patch last year. And I've just come pretty good in the last month or so. So, back to the $2 bets and stuff. So I've got $2 currently on a try scorer multi for the weekend. So I've got Reece Walsh, Greg Marju, Jermaine Osako, Marcelo Montoya, Tom Trbojevic, and Will Warbrick. That's paying $54 to the dollar.
Ooh, love it.
And I want a head-to-head multi. I went Brisbane Broncos, Newcastle Knights, Redcliffe Dolphins, the Bulldogs, Manly, and Melbourne -9.5, and that's paying $11.55.
Oh, I love to see it. I love to see it. I have no bets for the weekend currently right now. Again, guys, yeah, I've kind of just been focusing on a whole lot of other stuff, but we'll definitely fix that up for the next show as well. But yeah, nothing too much, really much more. Hopefully no power cuts before the Finns game, GT. Yeah, hopefully no power cuts before the Broncos game.
Do you have time to pull up the UFC, brother?
Yeah, well, all right. We'll put up full UFC. What card are we on now?
Well, it's pay-per-view, so that's why I thought we'll touch base on it. You know, we've got Poatan.
We got Poatan. Hold up. Let me get it up.
That's what you tell your Mrs. A, brother.
Oh, God. Oh, God. All right. So we got the card here. Oh, fuck. I need the whole card, please. Why won't you show? There we go. Yeah. We got the UFC 313. Incredible. Hopefully we get to watch this one, which would be really, really
The power should be on, brother. Can you share your screen?
Hey?
Can you share your screen?
I can.
Yeah. Chuck that up there for the guys. Here we go.
There we go. All right. So first matchup here, we got middleweight. We got Daniel Santos. Is it Daniel? Diego Santos, sorry. Versus Diaz. Know much about these guys here?
Nah, I don't know too much about these guys, but I'm going to go with the records here and go with the Brazilian that's 10-1.
Yeah, sweet. We might sweep through a lot of these prelim ones. You got Gutierrez versus Castaneda. We've seen Castaneda before.
Yeah, we've also seen Chris as well. He's he's got a mean leg kick on him. Got a good gas tank. I'm going to go with him on this one.
Yep, I'll sway with you on this one as well. We got Santos versus Marshall here. Again, two names that I'm not too I don't really know too much about, so we're probably going to go off the records here. Probably go Santos.
Yeah, I think so as well. It's so far the Brazilians are killing this card.
Just go with the Brazilians, baby. Just go with the Brazilians. We got Alex Morono versus Leo. I'm not too sure much about Leo. I haven't seen too much. Have you seen much of Leo?
No, I haven't. But, Morono's a big test for anybody coming into the UFC. He never looks like much. You always write him off, but he seems to pull out a win against, an up-and-coming guy. So I'm just going to go with the experience here and go with Morono.
Yep, I'll sway with you on that one. Moving into more names that we kind of know a little bit more about. We got Petrosian versus Ferreira. Tough fight. I will probably sway the way of Ferreira, more of the jiu-jitsu side of things.
Yeah, I'm going to go Ferreira KO. Dude's a bit of a little Hulk, he's a tank. Even though 183, definitely. Oh no, that's his reach, his height. Yeah, there we go, 178.
These Brazilians, bro, they're cleaning up this card right now. We got Van versus Susure. Sorry if I totally muffed that. Don't know how to pronounce that, but 10-0 record coming into the UFC. Haven't seen too much of him, but yeah, what are you saying on this one?
I'm going to go with Van on this one. I think I've seen him come through the Contender Series, and he's a bit of a talent.
All right, sweet. We're going to go with Van there. We got Curtis Blades versus Kuniev, Russian fighter there. Curtis Blades.
Hey, Ned, pronounce that name for us, brother, if you're in the chat.
Yeah, 100%. He hasn't brought up. He said he was going to jump in and really give it to you for this game of the weekend, but I'm pretty disappointed he's not here. Right?
Didn't show up like the Dragons, eh?
Didn't show up like the Dragons. But Curtis Blades, are we both on Curtis Blades in this one? Obviously trying to get back in the top of the heavyweight division. Yeah,
I find it weird that they've not put him on the main card for this one. I feel like he's getting a bit pushed to the side here, but it is what it is, the heavyweight division. And he's an exciting heavyweight fighter. He's not like a typical wrestler that just lays on you. So be interesting. He relies a lot on the wrestling coming up against a Russian. We know what they're made of, especially in that wrestling department. So takedown accuracy of 75% for the Russian here. So we might see a stand-up affair in this one. And the strikes per minute are going towards the Russian as well. I might actually have a sus of Blades as outsider on this one, but if he is, I'll be taking him for sure.
Yeah, 100%. I'm going to go Curtis Blades because I've seen a lot more out of him in the UFC for sure, with the experience and stuff. But this Russian guy, if he comes in and he's looking the goods, maybe he could be a guy to look at for the future as well, right?
100%. I haven't heard of him though.
No, neither. We have got Bobby Green up against Ruffy. This is going to be an interesting fight because Ruffy is a really exciting type of fighter. He's going to throw a whole lot of stuff. But Bobby, bro, Bobby is just an experienced guy. Loves to play with that his hands down sort of approach. Really uses the shoulders as a defense there. I think it's going to be a stand-up affair. I'm probably going to sway the way of Ruffy, but, you know, Bobby can definitely pull something out of his ass with the experience that he has.
Yeah, especially in a stand-up match. If you come in too cocky, too confident in a stand-up match against Bobby Green, he can make you look the fool. You know, he's got that really good head movement. But, you know, that camp is on fire at the moment, the fighting nerds out of Brazil there. And it makes you want to lean towards Ruffy, and you kind of have to. You know, he's got some really nice stand-up. In his last fight, it was a little disappointing, though. He could have put the guy away multiple times, and he didn't. But, you know, with a serious guy like Bobby Green in front of him, he'll probably bring out the better performance of himself, Ruffy, and really find a nice KO here. Bobby Green's getting a bit long in the tooth now, experienced a few KOs in a row.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Ruffy by KO there. We got Lemos versus Lucindo. I've seen a lot more of Lemos than Lucindo to give my sort of full judgment overall, but Lemos obviously comes to fight. She's really good, balanced sort of fighter. So I'm probably going to sway the way of experience here, even though Lucindo's had a lot more fighting experience. I think UFC experience is on Lemos' side, but where are you swaying on this contest?
Yeah, I haven't seen much of the other chick as well, so I'm gonna go towards Lemos.
Yeah, 100%. Jalen Turner versus Bahamondos. Really interesting contest here. I think Jalen Turner has been on a tear lately, and I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. I think that his height and reach is something to deal with, even though Bahamondos is going to meet him with the height battle there, 191 meters, 191 to the 191 overall there. At that weight division, that is tall. They are long, so it's going to be an interesting fight, this one.
Yeah, this one, other than, you know, the Gaethje fight, obviously has a bit of fight of the night written all over it, in my opinion. I'm excited for this one. I'll be probably tuning in around this mark, maybe that Ruffy mark, but probably around this mark is where I'll really start to get excited to watch this card. I'm going to go with Turner. I think the experience, a bit more experience there. He's a southpaw fighter. Yeah, I think he does. He's very powerful. I think it was his last fight where he landed a knockdown on Moicano and then backed up and then ended up losing. So he'll be pretty dirty about that one, and he won't want to take the foot off the throat this time, and he'll find the KO.
Yeah, it's just all about experience for him. Still, you know, obviously finding his way for the UFC, but while saying that, 29 years old to the 27-year-old, the younger kid here too. So I'm going to go Jalen Turner. I think he can crack. He can do really well, and definitely curious to see what he can come out with there. Obviously, the next fight was supposed to be Dan Hooker versus Justin Gaethje, which I think everyone was so excited for. Jose in the chat, Dan Hooker not being on his card really sucks, I think. And even he said coming out, he's like, I would still fight, but obviously broken hand. But Fazeev jumping in on short notice, a great fighter that has there. I've always been really high on Fazeev, but they have fought previously before from memory. So, and that way in the way of Gaethje. So I am going to, for me, I think Fazeev probably learned from experiences. I'm probably going to sway the way of Fazeev. I love his leg kicks. I love the way he's striking. He's on another level. The only thing that does worry me is Gaethje can hold in a contest for a long period of time and probably catch him a little bit later, which is kind of what he did in that last fight. So what is your thoughts there?
Well, I'm pretty sure it's still a 5-rounder as well. So the short notice for Fazeev might, you're 100% right there towards the back ends of the rounds. It's not easy to get Gaethje out of there either for Fazeev, so he's not going to find an early KO in my opinion. So I dare say Fazeev will get to a bit of a lead, maybe the first 2 rounds, but Gaethje will come home strong and either get a late round KO or cruise it out. What is it, 28-27?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I definitely can see that going away. And is the BMF belt on the up for line in this one?
No, you don't have that anymore, bro.
Oh, well, fuck. Yeah, no.
Holloway
got that one. Yeah, that's right. Why would they even have that up there? But anyway, continue on. Justin Gaethje in this one. And also, lastly, we've got the big fight, Alex Pereira versus Ankalaev. You got strong views on this one?
Nah, I don't, but I'm betting with my heart, and I really hope Peloton cleans up this dude. Like, I was pretty high on Ankalaev when he first came into the UFC. You know, he wanted the kill more. He looked for the KO. In his last few fights, and I could be wrong, he might have had a KO in there, but he's just been boring. He's taken the more approaching way to win the fight. And look, I get it. It's fighting. You just want to find a way to win. But to me, that's boring. Whereas you're like, you see someone like Poatan, who's so great for the UFC, steps in on short notices, fights 3 times a year, so entertaining social media wise. He's so much better for the UFC and the promotions of the UFC. Plus, I think he's the better fighter. But Uncle Life is going to be a big test for sure. But yeah, I've got Pereira, KO, leg kicks.
I think this is going to be a fucking tough fight for him. Like, I really do. I think that if Ankalaev just continues on that takedown trajectory, if he gets him on his back, it's going to be a long night for Pereira. But the only thing is like Pereira, what he's so good at, his distance control and he's striking. So if he's able to keep him on the outside, really walk him down and make Ankalaev try to shoot from his back foot instead of having the actual momentum through his takedown, I think that it could bode well for Pereira. I'm going to sway it away on Pereira only because of the way he's coming, the momentum he's got right now. But usually when I go these matchups of a striker versus a wrestler, I would sway the way of the wrestler. I think the wrestler as an art is a stronger form than striking overall. And I think that's what Pereira is going to struggle with in this one, is if he does get put on his back, he's going to work really hard to get back off it. And over time, that can soak away that power. But again, we're yet to be seen. He's undefeated in the UFC right now. So he's going to be definitely flying high, and I'm going to take him for a KO. I think he's going to find his chin at least once in this fight. So I'm going to go that way.
I think so too. I think you're bang on, brother. And it's funny because I thought Uncle Life was sort of heavily dominant with the wrestling as well, but he's actually not. He's actually calls himself a boxer more than a wrestler.
He's got the boxing stance too.
Yeah, and that's why he got ate up by leg kicks against Jan Blachowicz. Yet you got someone like Alex Pereira who hides those so much better and throws those with so much more power. He's really going to cut up those legs. So if I was Uncle Life, I'll be diving at this dude's knees. But, that's going to set up, and Alex Pereira have traps for that as well. So I think the fight experience and the fight IQ of Alex Pereira will get him through on this one, unless he gets subbed early. That's the only way I see him losing this fight. It's going to be tough, though. Don't get me wrong. I hope it's not just a snooze fest where he's on his back, but Pereira's the ultimate professional. Hopefully he's worked on that a fair bit with Glover at this stage. And then the power's the difference to make Uncle Life back up.
I think you hit the nail on the head with that boxing stance. Ankalaev really opens you up for that leg kick, and Pereira's leg kick is some of the most damaging out of the league, right? Like the way he hides it is more so the fact of, like, technically he shouldn't be able to put as much power as what he does with it, because he doesn't turn his hip over as much as what, usually when you turn your hip over, it becomes more of a predictable leg kick. His just sort of snaps out there, but he's just so dense, like his muscle density, his bone density must be so potent. That's the reason why he just crumbles people. So I think that would probably be his way to win this fight, is to really feed off that front leg. And for a wrestler, he's probably going to get dove on a lot and just keep his distance over time. But as you said, hopefully he's taken a lot of time, because with training with Glover Teixeira, he'll get put on his back quite a bit. I just remember from the first days of the UFC, obviously he struggled with that. So hopefully he has grown from that in future. But any bets you got on the UFC there, bro, at the moment, or are you just waiting to see?
No, I haven't had a bet on the UFC yet, but I will look into those odds, but obviously won't be able to post them up. We'll stay tuned just to the footy. And I'm also want to focus on Supercoach more so this year than the punt.
Yeah, 100%. It's probably the safe way to do it, guys. So guys out there, make sure, we just spoke about gambling before. If you do have a problem or anything, make sure you hit up those gambling hotlines to gamble responsibly overall. Make sure you continue. Set a bet limit if that helps, but also, get your help if you need, because over betting is not a good thing, and you don't want to sell the house that hopefully we don't lose in a cyclone, right?
Hey, might be the time to sell the house.
Might be the time, brother. But anything more you want to touch on before you leave, bro?
Nah, that's all for me. Other than that, glad the footy is back. Let's just need the power on now to be able to catch every single game.
Yeah, and guys, also definitely apologies for the way the show kind of ran at the end there. Obviously a little bit of mix and matching, but I hope you guys did enjoy, as you do every week. And we will be back next week bringing you some footy content, hopefully talking about some footy games that we're able to watch over the weekend. That would be really exciting.
And wishing for some good Supercoach scores. So good luck to everybody out there over the weekend. If you're in Oz, especially Brisbane, stay safe. Other than that, NZ, enjoy the week off. No heartbreak this weekend, and move past from last weekend, boys?
Let's go, baby. Up the wires, baby. Take it easy, guys. Have a good weekend.